Get the energy up, Brian. Energy. 3, 2, 1,
clap.
Oh, shit. Hang on.
3, 2, 1, clap.
Hey, it's a fucking podcast. Woo! How you doing, Brian?
I have energy, Jamie.
I have energy. I'm good.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Oh, you took it a little too far.
I'm sorry. We're clapping. I just got excited.
No. Hi. This is Jump on the Bat-Wagon. Did you know?
I
Welcome.
know. I feel like sometimes I forget the name of our podcast, actually.
Yeah. We didn't know what it was for like 20 episodes.
True.
Despite it being the name publicly throughout those 20 episodes, we were in the dark of what our own podcast name was. But anyway, it's just me and Brian this time. We don't have a listener with us. We don't have Dylan Pollock. Dylan Pollock is
I'm pretty
not
sad.
here.
I'm sure Dylan's sad, too.
Yeah. Well, we made Dylan officially a third host of the podcast, and then we just said, just kidding, idiot, and stopped that. Right? You were there. We did that.
Yeah, I think we made him the official third host of the show, and then we left that show and we made another one, which is kind of sad.
Right.
Like, it's the same outcome.
Yeah, we made Dylan sign a contract. Oh, yeah, you will be official third host of Yoppie Dudes. You didn't read the fine print that no such podcast exists. So we actually turned around and kept doing Jump on the Bat-Wagon without you, but you got to read the fine print.
That's awful. I don't like it.
You don't like this at all?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay, well, anyway, this is a podcast where we don't watch the DC animated universe from start to finish in the controversial airdate order with Dylan Pollock. It's just with you. You were like, staring, where are you going with this? Yes, we do that thing.
I was very confused, but I didn't want to trample over your words, so I thought I'd let you finish.
Don't derail me. Only I get to do that to you. As you pointed out like 3 different times last episode, it made me feel bad, and I'm going to try to do it less this time.
No, we can't have that.
No, okay. The controversial air date order is because I want Brian to experience these shows the way children of the 90s experienced them, because Brian has never seen any of these shows before except the 30-whatever episodes. I don't remember. 38 this time? Who knows? I can never check the different tab to see. Well, I have seen all of them a bunch of times. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. We recommend that you watch today's episode before listening to this episode of the podcast. The episode is Batman the Animated Series, Heart of Steel. And I believe last time you guessed this would be, your prediction was this was either a Superman crossover or Shaquille O'Neal's origin story. And I told you neither were correct.
Yeah, but I don't believe you.
No?
No,
okay.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Shaq attack coming up here pretty quick.
Of the 2 possibilities, that's your more likely. Superman on the Batman show or Shaquille O'Neal?
Can you prove me wrong?
I won't, and I'll let you experience the DCAU for the first time. I'm not going to give you too many hints, okay? Yeah. This is the 38th episode produced and the 39th to air. One of our closest.
Whoa. Yet. Wow. Wow.
I don't think that it is. I don't think you asked me like several dozen episodes ago about whether it was whether we'd ever have the number be exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I feel like these ones where they're just one off are like the closest we'll get. We talked about having champagne on if they were ever the same.
Yeah.
I don't think we're having champagne. Maybe when we get to Superman or something. But do we start over the number? I think we've already had this discussion.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'll just keep going. This aired Monday, November 16th, 1992. We skipped Saturday and Sunday. We haven't had a Saturday or Sunday 10 a.m. on Fox Kids in quite a while. This is all this.
Man, I'm depressed.
I know. It makes me very sad.
Mm-hmm.
As sad as Shaquille O'Neal is in this episode. 4:30 p.m. on Fox. This was written by Brian Stevens, or Brynne, Brynne. Brine?
Probably not.
Pirate ship?
I'd say Brynne.
Brynne?
Brynne?
I don't know. Let's ask them. Directed by Kevin Altieri. I have Brian Stevens has previously not written any episodes for this show. Kevin Altieri directed On Leather Wings, The Cat and the Claw Part 1, Feet of Clay Part 2, Pav, The Clock King, The Last Laugh, Eternal Youth, Two-Face, and Night of the Ninja.
I can't tell if I should hate this episode already or if I should love it.
Well, there's quite the mix that will continue here with that thought. Music is by Richard Bronskill, who composed Moon of the Wolf, and Tamara Klein, who composed Prophecy of Doom, which is the Nostromos episode. The fortune teller planets and things. So I don't remember anything remarkably good or bad about the music in either of those, even though we just watched one of them, but those are those credits. And then animation by Sunrise, who has previously animated The Cat and the Claw Part 1, Pretty Poison, The Clock King, and I Am the Night. Can't see us, but we're dancing.
Dance, JB, dance! Yeah!
How long do we let this go on?
The whole fucking song, it's so good.
Copyright claim on this one for sure.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Get it!
Woo!
Get it!
All right, that's enough. Are you ready?
No.
Sunrise has animated 4 previous episodes to this. I think I felt like it was a lot more because every time we're like, the Cowboy people, and then almost never them. Which almost 40 episodes and a 10th of them have been.
Oh my god.
But you know.
Well, you know, we can. We're so excited by them. They are 40 episodes worth of the 4 episodes.
Yeah. So yeah,
did that sentence correctly?
I understood. As long as I understand, there's no one else listening to this podcast.
Truth.
Except Dylan Pollock. Yeah, so we have like a good director, an unknown writer, good animation, and then composers from bad episodes, but question mark on whether they were bad composers.
Right.
So we don't know.
God.
Sorry if you're listening to this, Richard Bronskill or Tamara Klein.
Or
Bryn Steven. Well, we don't know.
B-R-Y-N-N-E.
B.R. Wine Stevens.
There you go.
Where we drink wine while we watch Heart of Steel. I almost said something else, but I don't want to give it away.
Part 1.
Yeah, that was what I was going to do.
I thought you did.
You saw my lips curl into the P. And
I did.
Whoop, don't do it.
Oh, shit. Is it 2-parter? 3-parter? Jamie, how many parts are there?
I don't. If you didn't learn from health class how many parts there are. Oh, boy. Let's go watch it.
Okay.
This is my greatest achievement, my prototype AI. This is Hardak.
Who?
Holographic, analytical, reciprocating, digital computer. Hardak.
Hardak. Okay. And you?
How rude of me. Bruce, this is Randa Dwayne, my assistant.
Your hand is like ice.
Sorry, I've been in the cold room.
So tell me, what does Hardak do?
Now, Bruce, I can't tell you all of my secrets, can I? Let's just say that certain projects are under his control.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah?
Yes, no. Yes, no. Yeah. Yes, no.
6, 27, 14.
Dicks 27, 14. How many dicks? Oh, God. What happened in Heart of Steel Part 1? Which I was trying to keep a secret from you, and then you looked at the DVDs and went, oh, hey, it says Part 1. I'm like, fuck.
That's not how that happened.
Nope, it's not, but let's pretend it is. The narrative must
listeners
be
are like,
maintained.
That's not how that happened. Okay.
It happened. I was swallowing water. I couldn't get too fast. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Boy, how did the episode start, actually?
We're at Wayne Enterprises, right? Was that the beginning? And a suitcase robot?
Oh, that's right. Okay. So there's everyone's leaving Wayne Enterprises, and a mysterious blonde woman walks up to the security booth and drops a briefcase and walks out. And the guy's like, hey, what's that all about? And the security guy then picks up the briefcase and is like, I'm going to take this to the back room to talk to other security guards about it. And they talk about it, and they're like, maybe it's a bomb. And they open it up, and it's not a bomb. It's a briefcase. And they're like, okay, well, let's not worry about that. Turns out the briefcase is a robot hell-bent on stealing information from Wayne Enterprises.
No.
Yes.
Yes, no. This is a reference to the episode.
A visual reference.
The listener watched the episode before they listened to this, so of course they know what we're talking about.
They get when the bat computer freaks out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a little information stealing robot, and
it steals information. It sucks up all the floppy disk wafers into its mouth hole.
It sure does.
You had like 60 instances of that's not how that works. Just in the first 5 minutes, you're like lasers, vacuums, all of the above
walls,
technology. Yeah,
elevators,
rockets,
mostly lasers, rockets,
water, waves,
physics. Yeah, it was all a little bit wonky.
Yeah, a little weird considering like I think the animation was standout good.
Yeah,
but you're just like there's just so many like. Oh, well, in the real world, actually, a robot would shoot a laser like this.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, like, the animation was great, and there was some stuff that was just really bad. Like, standout was the very start, people walking. Everybody walked in the exact same...
Sure, yeah.
Left,
right, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, they grew and shrunk a little bit. The animation was a little bit jittery, and so that was... I was like at the start. I was like, oh no,
worried. Yeah,
and then Alfred mopping up water, and it was
like water that just kind of disappears chunk by chunk.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we're talking about. I'm trying to give a synopsis. There's a guy that Bruce Wayne meets to talk about AI or whatever. I was actually a little unclear.
Carl
about
Rossum. That. Yes.
Oh, rar. What did the license plate say?
We'll get to it in tribs.
Okay. Anyway, there's a big computer that's controlling a lot of stuff, and I think the girl that Bruce Wayne has a crush on is actually a robot. Actually, no, I know she's a robot. I haven't said it yet, but I know she's a robot.
You don't know. You haven't seen part 2 yet. You don't know.
No, I know. It's too obvious. And I don't know. Let's see. Batman.
You're having such a hard time remembering this one.
It's just like it's hard to string together. There's like lots of instances, but it's
It did have quite a bit of back and forth. Like it wasn't very linear in its locations and stuff. I think it was something I liked though about it was it wasn't just like super predictable. I mean the robot stuff is predictable, but it's like we had just all these different settings and different moods and stuff. And then a lot of, like you pointed out, a lot of, differently cinematic things than past episodes, like kind of basing it on, what were you comparing it to specifically?
Oh, Mulholland Drive. I mean, it was just kind of the vibe of it was very Lynchian.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was getting kind of some Hitchcockiness out of the chase scene and the just the settings in general, the camera angles and stuff. There was that really cool camera like rotation around Randa. Yeah, Randa. It sounds weird to say Randa. Like I feel like it should be Rhonda. I've said Rhonda every time that we're talking about this character in a video, and then to hear that it's just Randa, like is it supposed to be a joke on like random access memory or something?
Or maybe her name is Miranda and she just wanted to like drop a couple letters from it.
Yeah, Ramanda. Miranda, please.
I can't say that one backwards. That broke my brain. Anyway, what's the synopsis here?
Yeah, I'll read you the official one
do you want to
know what
actually
happens in the episode.
Cool. Yeah, let's get some clarity.
Make sure I'm reading the one for part 1. Yes, I am. Okay. High-tech secrets are stolen from Wayne Enterprises by a robot. Bruce Wayne knows that the only one capable of building such sophisticated robots is Carl Rossum, owner of Cybertron Labs. Meanwhile, Barbara Gordon suspects that her father, the commissioner, is not himself. She's right. He's been replaced by a look-alike robot.
Wait, is that at all true?
Huh?
She didn't suspect that he's been replaced by a robot?
It just suspects that her father is not himself. I don't know. Now, this says he's been replaced by a look-alike robot, as have Bullock and Mayor Hill. It is all part of a plan by Hardak, an artificial intelligence computer created by Rossum to supplant humanity with machines. When Rossum learns of this plan, Hardak replaces him as well. This is just spoiling part 2 for you. Bruce Wayne invites Rhonda Dwayne to dinner, not knowing that she's a robot also. She discovers the secret entrance to the Batcave.
Wait, Jamie.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to not read the spoilers?
Well, it's mixed in with what actually happened.
Don't read it.
I don't read it ahead of time.
Do that.
Okay. Let me read the last
Jesus
2 sentences
fuck.
here.
Jesus Christ, Jamie.
No. She discovers the secret entrance to the Batcave, sets up an interface connection between the Batcomputer and Hardak. When Batman tries to use the Batcomputer, it attacks him, using robotic arms to seize him and begin to crush him. As Batman struggles futilely in the arm's grip, we end part 1.
There you go.
Which is interesting, considering how much of part 2 was in that description.
Yeah.
Okay, you guessed she was a robot.
Well, yeah, but Bullock wasn't even shown in this episode, and now I know he's going to be a robot.
Yeah, my bad. Why the fuck was that like that?
I don't know, but I want to help you learn how to read ahead.
I want to help you learn how to read.
I want to help me help you.
So, good episode, bad episode?
Good episode.
Good episode.
Bad synopsis.
Bad synopsis. Horrible. Especially for such an occasion as this where you haven't seen the second part yet.
Right. But
now
why
I have
would
to
they
read
also...
every synopsis from now on ahead of time to make sure it's not like, and this is the one where the Riddler shows up, like before
at
you
least,
even see.
At least with 2-part things, yeah.
I
Holy
guess.
shit.
Unlike his next appearance, where the Riddler dies, like just bullshit like that. What the
fuck? Love it.
Yeah, well, whatever. Now you know some stuff. You don't know all the stuff, okay?
I guessed. I feel like I did pretty good at guessing on that.
Yeah. I thought it was just going to do the Bullock and Mayor Hill, weird that it would say that in the in the part 1 description. Is like, also, here are 6 other things that happen, but whatever. Yeah, good episode. It wasn't groundbreakingly good, I don't think. It didn't stand out to me anyway as a holy shit, I love this episode kind of episode.
It was cool though. It had a really good vibe. It had good art. It had great music.
Yeah, we talked the music specifically. Do you want to talk about what you liked about it? Say what it is to the listener.
Yeah. I really liked that they gave a lot of space for the music to stand out. There's that whole sequence of the suitcase robot just creeping in. And there's a couple minutes of no dialogue, nothing, just the action on the screen and the music to accompany it. There's other times where there's background beeps and stuff that were going along to with the tempo of the music, and it was cool. It seemed like a very well orchestrated, no pun intended, episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, I it's like music. I was thinking we had all that stuff that was like you're saying, the robot suitcase spider walking across the ground, and the music is the only thing besides tiny amounts of sound effects. And I was thinking oh, this is a really cool vibe to this episode. It gives me the warm fuzzies. And then Bruce Wayne ruined that by just being very predatory and weird the whole episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had several moments of gross, ew, please stop kind of stuff. And I knew you would do that when Barbara shows up and he's like, you've grown, and is touching her chin and stuff very uncomfortably. But I had forgotten also just about how just the way that I don't know if I'm assuming that they're writing this stuff on purpose to be very transatlantic and 40s sounding and stuff like that. The way, like, there were a few lines in this that caught me off guard of how, like, oh, this character doesn't usually talk like that or whatever. Like, even Gordon was kind of like, she's far somethinger than I, or something like that. That made me go like, that's not how you say things, but okay. And Batman also did one of those, like, robots and are smarter than we, or something, something like that. Not smarter than I, obviously, because I can't even fucking remember what he said. But just stuff that was like a little more, I don't know, old timey sounding, and then that just kind of leaked into the way he's like, maybe I can squeeze it out of your lovely assistant and stuff like that. That was just a little unnecessarily creepy and. I hope that's like, even in 1992 it sounded weird and it was on purpose, but I don't know.
Hard to say.
I can only I can hope for the best, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, with Mary Jane coming in there, I don't know what age she's supposed to be.
College, she's doing papers and stuff, yeah.
It was just, I mean, she's like carrying around a teddy bear,
right?
And like,
that was
just like immediately goes up and is like, "Oh, it's been 4 years, or whatever. You like how you've grown." He's just like fondling her, and it's just like, "Oh my god!"
Like, I haven't seen you since you were 15 or whatever, basically.
God, I don't even want to get into that. It's just so fucking icky.
Yeah, I mean,
how old's Bruce Wayne?
In this, like, early 30s. Yeah.
Pretty soon you'll be old enough to drink.
Right, yeah. Just like me, I'm a grown man. It is a little bit, it's funny now being in the age group that Batman is supposed to be. That's like, oh, I'm supposed to be drawn like that in Bruce Timm style by this point. I mean, not me specifically, but like people in my age group. Like, I still look at Batman and think of him as some like late 40s kind of age, just like based on how he's drawn and how many lines are on his face and how he acts and all this stuff. But I mean, timeline wise, no. So I don't know.
Honestly, though, me too. The fact that I'm like potentially older than Bruce Wayne is like, really?
yeah.
Really? I'm currently wearing a purple T-shirt. Like,
yeah. I'm currently on a podcast. What the fuck?
That's not what 30-somethings do.
No, for sure. Cool robot designs, I guess. A little phallic, but still neat. It wasn't just, I mean, like the ones that becomes fleshatized with Gordon's image is just, very generic robot and Terminator kind of deal looking.
Yeah.
But then there's just also a bunch of foot massage robots or whatever.
That was such a tea making robot or coffee robot or whatever, and the foot he puts his feet up on the ottoman, and this thing like.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a foot massage robot, but Bruce like puts his feet up and crosses his legs at the ankle. And then this ottoman like curls up like a hard shell taco and just starts squeezing the shit out of his feet. And it
saw Joker's taco barge and was like, I need to make that into a robot. I do. Yeah, I just said like, as he starts massaging his feet, just breaks Batman's feet clean off.
Yeah, it just turns his whole like lower legs and feet into dust.
But besides the like little robots, what did you think of Hardek's visual design?
You mean the giant Dalek?
Yeah, the Dalek / whatever the
minion.
You're not. I mean, damn it! It does look like a minion. Now I'll never not see that. Fuck you, bro.
You're welcome, Jamie. I know you love minions.
Oh, here's Hardek. He's our artificial blah blah blah. Banana. That's all you can say. Banana and garbledy-gook. What's nice. The what was I thinking? What's the robot? HAL 9000. That's what I was thinking. That's the vibe I think he's supposed to give off. Yeah,
it's pretty HAL reminiscent.
Yeah, but yeah,
and also the car in Knight Rider.
Yeah, yeah, car and Knight Rider. We know what we're talking about. I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Good job.
David Hasselhoff. That's the name of the car in Knight Rider. Let's talk about the cast. We got Kevin Conroy as Batman. Bob Hastings as Gordon. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. The OG, or not the OG, the real G is back. The good G.
New G.
We got Jeff Bennett as Hardak. He is Johnny Bravo.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And many, many, many other characters.
That'd be such a great. They just come up with like one like, hey, mama.
Yeah. Ha! Do the monkey with me. Oh, Hardak, what are you talking about? Just Randa comes out of the door. Whoa, mama.
Wait, do you want to tell me who?
I'm getting there.
Oh God, I need to know.
We got Melissa Gilbert Brinkman as Barbara Gordon. We had the same voice from before. I'm trying to remember what Melissa Gilbert did that was recognizable that you would know, and I'm going to look. I don't know why when I Google Melissa Gilbert, it autofills Melissa Gilbert brother. Like, no, I'm actually like, oh, she's Little House on the Prairie woman, which meant nothing to you. Leslie Easterbrook as Randa. She played Callahan in all of the Police Academy movies. That was her like one known thing, and I don't even know that because I've never seen any of those.
Yeah.
Brock Peters as Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman. And then we have William Sanderson as Rossum. He played a character named Sheriff Dearborn in True Blood. He played a character named Larry in 91 episodes of Newhart, the Bob Newhart show. E.B. Farnham in 36 episodes of Deadwood.
No.
And then he played J.F. Sebastian in Blade Runner. Does that mean nothing to you either?
No, none of these mean anything to me.
Well, that'll come up in Tribs here in a sec. But you were very convinced like you knew that voice, but now I've told you.
Is there anything? Is there any more? Is there like more obscure things?
Those were kind of like the top things. I don't know.
Give me some obscure things though.
I'm just gonna list his entire filmography, and you tell me if you've seen it.
Sweet.
Anything?
Go rapid fire.
Wait, he was in. Nope, never mind. There's a 2004 film called Avatar that has nothing to do. Although the cover does have some blue people on it, it's not the blue people. He was in that. I don't know, man. I don't know what you think you heard.
What's his name?
Sanderson, William Sanderson.
Sanderson, American actor. He actually even looks familiar. But why?
He wrote a book called Yes, I'm That Guy, The Rough and Tumble Life of a Character Actor. So you should know him, I guess. According to his book.
Bad Karma, Criminal Minds, Tim and Eric Awesome. That couldn't be it.
I don't think you know this voice. I think maybe he's just doing an impression of something that you think you know.
Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you about the trivs of this.
Tell me some trivs while I read Angry Beavers. Are real monsters.
You're not going to find it, Brian.
I'm going to never find it. Like in my favorite TV show of all time or something. Matlock. That's what it is. This is upsetting.
He was in Frisky Dingo as guy number 2.
All right, give me the trivs.
Okay, well, I didn't write this down. I was just going to tell you from memory, I guess, past James decided.
Awesome.
But so he plays a character named J.F. Sebastian in Blade Runner. What are you laughing at?
He was a Knight Rider.
as Carr. What if, though? Anyway, J.F. Sebastian in Blade Runner is a character that makes he makes all the like robot people, the replicants, I think they are in Blade Runner, and he's like he's just basically the same character in this as he was in that. Is the trivs?
Amazing trivs.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I felt like maybe I left that off on purpose because I felt like it's one of those like. Did you know when Aragorn kicks this helmet, he broke his actual foot? Kind of trivia of like, I have to tell you this thing that everyone knows or whatever. Like that's my role on this podcast. But now you know that thing. I'll read you the actual trivs. Cybertron is the name of the planet the Autobots and Decepticons came from in the popular series Transformers.
Maybe that's why that sounded like it just sounded so cliche, like
did,
Cybertron, Cybertron, great. But maybe I know it.
Yeah,
because of
very, very. What's the Terminator one? Brain not on today.
No, we were so enthusiastic at the start. We got to get back. We need some clapping.
What the fuck? Skynet. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, this is the first appearance of Barbara Gordon production-wise. Her first air date appearance was I Am the Night, which we already watched. Carl Rossum's surname comes from the 1921 Czech play R.U.R. by Karl Čapek, which introduced the word robot into the English language. The title stands for Rossum's Universal Robots.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. Which you notice on the license plate, and you're like, "Rrr." And that's what it is.
Sweet. That's a cool callback. Call at all.
It's
a cool
call at all.
Call it all.
And then the last thing I got is when the duplicate Gordon picks up the newspaper, the headline misspells burglarized as booglarized.
I didn't catch that.
I was looking for spelling mistakes on the little like Herbie looking robot that welcome Bruce Wayne or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's just like, everything is spelled correctly, surprisingly, I guess.
Damn. Cowboy Bebop people in their good fonts.
They know how to talk. Yeah. I mean, spell.
We got it.
Fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
You got it, Jamie.
Yeah. It wasn't like this episode took it out of me like I'm Una the Wolf or anything. It's just, I'm just kind of beat today. My back hurts a lot today. Sorry, listener.
Welcome to your 30s and or falling over a cart.
Yeah, just like old B-Man, who's also in his 30s. Yeah.
He was very human in this episode, actually. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, you said that at some point. I didn't really get what you meant by that.
He, like,
he's not a robot like everyone else in this episode.
There's the whole, like, suspension of disbelief and things. Like, Batman's, like, washed up on the beach with his hang glider or whatever. And then you'd expect to see him, like, come in to the Batcave. Excuse me. All, like, disheveled or whatever, and that's the end of it. But, like, he comes in dragging a broken hang glider, soaking wet, and it's all dripping water all over the place. And it was, like, I feel like in, like, not just cartoons, but especially cartoons, but also shows, you don't really get to see that, like, the humanity of the reality of, like, oh, I did this thing, and now I don't want to just leave this bat hang glider or whatever just on the beach, so I have to deal with it. And that was his mode of transportation from the building top. So, like, he had to, like, walk that back to Wayne Manor.
Yeah, and, I mean, especially compared to other, like, kind of more supernatural things that he does in other episodes where he'll just be in the costume all of a sudden, or he'll be Killer Croc's head for a second in a light swing or whatever. Like,
God damn it, Jamie.
It showed his humanity that he has to deal with people problems.
Yeah. Like, it's not like that time he, like, rolled the Batmobile and then that's just all we hear of it.
Right, yeah.
Or last we see of it, anyway.
To walk the Batmobile back to Wayne Manor. Someone, police blimp just following him, slowly walking miles and miles across Gotham City with the hang glider. Where are you going with that? Oh, please stop following me. I would like to know where you're based. You're kind of a criminal vigilante. I need to know this.
Batman, we're gonna follow you. Do you want to ride? We'll just give you a ride to your hideout. It's fine.
Maybe because since he has the hang glider on top of the building, on top of Wayne Enterprises, but presumably that's not like the only place he keeps one of those, I guess. Would you say, like, because he's used it? What is the other episode we already saw him use it in? I can't remember, but maybe Cat in the Claw or something like that. There was another one where he's hang gliding into somewhere that we've already seen, and but I doubt he, like, went to Wayne Manor or Wayne Enterprises rooftop to get that, to go back to wherever he was. So, like,
just every high point in Gotham, he's got one stash.
Yeah, he just has all these different hidden bat gliders in different spots in the city. Even that one that he didn't walk all the way back, he just got in a different one and then accidentally submerged that one right outside his house and brought that one back in.
He crashed it in the bat pond.
Yeah, full of bats, just swimming around having a good time. Interrupted their day.
Aquatic bats. Sorry, so I cut you off. What were you getting into?
I don't remember. Alfred got fucking electrocuted as shit in this episode.
He did.
And I think that already happened to Gordon, and you had no reaction, and then Alfred got electrocuted, and you're like, "Holy fuck!" or something. Like you were so.
It seemed like it. Like with Gordon, it was like, okay, you got like the robot, and you got the bad other girl who's also a robot, and they're standing there like ominously in the shadows, and then Commissioner Gordon, like the robot Commissioner Gordon, like steps in and is all like, I'm evil, and then like the real
You're
Commissioner
expecting
Gordon
something
gets
bad
shot.
to happen.
You expect something bad. This one was like Alfred comes down the stairs with coffee, and she just fucking like snaps him.
I like how it also erased his memory of that happening. So he just, I must have dozed off in this chair.
It's half taser, half Men in Black, flashy
yeah.
thing.
After I ran down the stairs with tea for you and Miss Randa, then I fell asleep in this chair immediately, and I don't know where she went.
It's a totally normal thing for me and my character.
Yeah. I was like I like that that's the second time we've seen now, because Batman gets back to Wayne Manor. I guess he's Bruce at this point. I mean, he's always Bruce technically, but he gets back to the house and he's like, Alfred? And he's on the stairs. Alfred! And runs down there. That's in Eternal Youth. Batman also stood on those same stairs after he figured out that the cookies combined with human plasma makes people trees, and shouted, Alfred! Like, this is the second time we've got a stairs shouting Alfred moment. Just had to point that out.
We're going to have to make a top 10 for those.
I know, yeah. Top 10 didn't get to see Robo Gordon's penis. This episode is one. I don't think it happens again, but I can't be sure. Actually, it could happen. The more I'm thinking about it. What?
Whoa.
What?
No, wait a minute. Let's talk about that too, because like, did they the need for editing with that smoke in front of his nether region suggests that they made him perfectly anatomical?
Right, yeah. But I mean, at first I thought for some reason, like I couldn't remember quite who is the first, or like who gets duplicated or whatever. And I just knew it happened to some people.
Yeah.
I mean, now I know it also happens to Bullock and Mayor Hill apparently. But for some reason I thought it was going to be a Bruce Wayne duplicate, because like the camera, Hardak's like eyeball camera is looking at Bruce Wayne and Randa talking below. And then it shows a robot being made. So I was like, oh, it's looking at Bruce Wayne and copying him. Okay. And then it's just Commissioner Gordon, who it shouldn't have any info on at all visually. Like, why would it know?
Yeah, I had that thought too.
Yeah. So I was thinking when it panned across that, like, oh, so yeah, when it assumes the character's junk, it even more assumed Gordon's junk. Like, it could at least get sort of a soft read on Bruce Wayne. Pun intended.
He's wearing some sweatpants that day.
Yeah. Randa noticed. I'll squeeze the info out of your sweatpants, Bruce Wayne. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we could spend less time on the robot
anatomy.
At Bruce Wayne's office, they're like, did you dust the computer for prints? And they're like, yep, but they already did. And then there's just no evidence of any sort of like fingerprint dust shit on his computer. And then and Morgan Freeman is just typing away on it, interfering with the crime scene and such, sitting in the chair.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's that guy like tapping the fork in the desk really
just
excitedly.
Damn, this fork doesn't work. I'm not getting any boxed mac and cheese on this fork.
I hear that stuff slaps.
It slaps so hard, but there's nothing here. At the beginning, when they're in Wayne Enterprises and Bruce Wayne is just like, well, I thought I'd get out before the evening locks go off or whatever he says.
Yeah, before the alarms get turned on or something.
Do you think that was just an excuse he was making to the guards? Because, yeah, I mean, he's Batman. If he got stuck in there, he would get out very easily somehow. And
I mean, it's his
he
own
also know
building.
the codes to his own building?
I'd assume he'd know the codes to his building. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. I think that's all my thoughts on this episode.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah. I mean, light wraps, there wasn't anything particularly light wrappy, but there was a cool shot when the rocket lands in the sand in front of Rand. And there was light, like she was very brightly lit from the front there for a second. It was kind of a cool mix of frames as the rocket landed in the sand.
There's good art. Good job, Sunrise.
Good art. Batman's usefulness in this episode. Pretty
Not good.
Unuseful, I would say.
No, I say that he was almost more useful as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I guess, but like this being part 1 of 2,
I imagine he'll get more useful.
Yeah, this part 1, it was a lot more just setting up a mystery or setting up the plot or whatever, and he just kind of was part of it. He didn't really do anything cool or good yet.
I guess with that in mind, I'm going to give Batman 2 out of 10 questionable teddy bears belonging to a air quotes adult female.
I thought for some reason I was like, do we mention the fact that we were making so many like vibrator jokes while we were watching the whole episode?
Probably not.
And I guess I have now. So they weren't directed in anything cruel. There's just a lot of phallic robots and a lot of toys, references to toys malfunctioning. So I'll just say that much. I'm gonna give Batman 2. No, you gave. I was gonna do 3. 3 out of 10. Vacuumed up floppy disks or whatever the fuck that was. I like that scene. The guards are like, oh, the alarm's going off. Let's look at the one TV that's on out of the row of like 12 TVs.
Right.
And it's just this looping like 3 frames of the briefcase robot sucking up whatever little wafer things that they said they were wetware wafers.
Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to look like many of them are flinging into its mouth or whatever you want to call that, but instead it's just like the same image of the wafer things that just floating there in front,
kind of like
just doing a little
jogging
dance.
around.
Yeah. just one of those things, just like the water with the broom, the mop. I liked that Alfred, the little moment where Batman Bruce Wayne is like, I'm in the Batman costume. Lucius, what's going on the phone?
Yeah.
He did that in Feet of Clay, I think, or some other episode where he just talks as Bruce Wayne. It's always funny to see him putting on that voice.
It's a little odd.
Yeah. Although, speaking of which, I forgot to mention that moment where he's they're like, Mr. Wayne, go in this room here. Get out of danger. Stay put or whatever. And he's like, stay put? I don't think so, in his Batman voice, and then goes in like a Scooby-Doo secret door.
Oh my god! Which, like, roughly guessing in the geometry, has 3 copy segments.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Like rotates
what if it
around
stops
like a
halfway?
Yeah. Oh my god!
There was a theme
funny.
of that. He also had like a bookcase entrance to the Batcave.
Yeah.
That she just walks down. You were confused by how she knew he was Batman just from like a 3-second glance at the Batcave.
Yeah.
But I guess in my head, like, that wasn't a problem because I'm like, oh, she can see all the Batman stuff or whatever. And you're like, is there anything noticeably Batman in her like field of view? And I'm like, yeah, the Bat computer. Why would she know what that is? Like,
yeah, it was just like a big open cave with a giant computer.
Yeah.
And she like walks in, like the door's open, she walks in and is like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like,
yeah.
What? How? What gave you that information?
It might be the same kind of like plot device as the little detective kid in I've Got Batman in My Basement knew there was a Batcave when he shouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Or like Killer Croc, I think, also said something about the Bat. Like characters that shouldn't know there's a Batcave Randa Dwayne is on the list now, I guess. Like, oh, the Batcave, of course, I'm familiar. The one
Giant
beneath
cave
Wayne
with a
Manor,
computer.
yes, of course.
This fits the exact description of the Batcave.
Yeah, based on what was his name, Sherbet.
Sherbet.
Based on Sherbet's description of the Batcave, from his assumptions. Yeah,
Sherbet was a robot too. Make it canon.
I can make whatever I want canon just by doing it.
Nice.
Now it's time for mail, but before we get to that, we should talk about our most recent episode and the experiences we learned, the things we learned from that experience, I should say.
Hey,
yeah.
Let's talk about that because, well, first off, I want out the gate. I want to say that it was awesome having Dylan on. It was awesome
Yes.
hanging out and
Yes.
getting the 3 official hosts together.
Finally, people have been waiting since episode -5.
Truth.
For Pill and Doc. So, I mean, the episode came out and you texted me like, oh my God, like it sounds horrible. Or you said this in our group chat or something like that. You said like it sounded horrible, like the quality of the audio.
Yeah.
We just recorded everything over Zoom and it sounded like doo-doo. So we've decided that we're not going to like cut out, like we learned from that having a listener on requires us basically to be in person, me and Brian, to then record them remotely, and that's fine. But the having, like, Brian was cutting in and out the whole time, saying lots of things that only got like a little and then I go, yeah, and move on, and you don't know what the hell Brian just said, which is what I hear half the time on the recording here on Zoom. But but you guys get to hear everything. But yeah, so like future guests that we will bring on, we will be reaching out to you rather than the other way around. So like basically we're cutting off. If you have requested an episode already, we will do our best to get you on the podcast either for that episode, or if it doesn't line up with when we're in person together, me and Brian. I have to keep clarifying that because I don't need the listener to be in person. Okay. If it lines up with that, cool. If it doesn't, we will just contact you for like, hey, we're in person. You're on the list of people that we're potentially bringing on. Do you want to be in this one of these handful of episodes that we're about to do? But otherwise
We always talk about how like the mail segment is our favorite part because it's really cool to do this thing where like right now it's just me in my space looking at James in his space over a computer, and like, you know, we don't really have that interaction, especially with me, like avoiding spoilers. Like I don't go in the comment sections. I don't really hang out often on the Discord.
I don't go to the Heart of Steel Part 1 description.
I don't go to the Heart of so like doing the listener mail thing is like really the only time other than like DMs that come into me that I like get to interact with people. And
it's also just cool at all that there is a listener base this like dedicated.
Yeah, it's
like it may not be like
awesome.
Amazingly huge, but it's still like a recurring cast of people that like, oh hey, it's this person, it's this person.
Yeah, and we both just super appreciate that. And we're gonna do our absolute best to get people in for the episodes that they want to be, you know, participating on. But it's turning out to be more difficult than we thought, and we don't want the quality of the podcast to suffer. I don't want to say like we don't want the quality of the podcast to suffer, but we don't want to be putting out a product that isn't as good as we can do. Like we want to do our best. We want to present this as best as we can. We want to make it as listenable as possible, and also include people when we can do that. So we got your number. We'll call you.
Yeah, the people, like I said, the people that we have listed already that I've read off before, like if you have like secured an episode that you're like, I really want to be on there, and I've been saying the whole time, like that's not a guarantee that we'll have you on for that episode or any episode, but we know you're interested. Now it's going to be like, okay, we will reach out to those people like for sure if it makes sense to, if the timing is right and all that stuff, and we'll do our best to have you on here for something just because you've been around a long time and blah blah blah. But if we also don't want it to, hopefully understandably, open up to like, I've listened to 6 episodes and I'm here for the first time and I would like to be on Mask of the Phantasm, and we're like, well, so if we come to a point where Brian and I are both going to be in Big Bus, Oregon, and we're going to record. And who's on the list of people? Oh, we should, with this episode's coming up, let's contact this person and see if they want to come on, that kind of thing. So I'm happy that Dylan got to be the guinea pig, I suppose. Anyone else, and we're like, oh, sorry, Dylan, this is going to be a while. At least we got to have Dylan on for that. But.
Yeah, so we're sorry for like this kind of sudden change of pace, but we hope you understand.
I'm happy to have other people on for like select episodes, like we did Christmas with the Joker with Dylan, because I felt like, okay, this is sort of a, I don't know, monumental sounds too big, but like it's the holiday special episode and it's this thing. Let's have Dylan Pollock on. Yeah. But like if we're just doing any old episode. I just want you to watch the DCAU and experience the DCAU, and this is for you. This is for us.
You're saying that we could like theoretically fill up every single episode with a guest listener.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense too, and I think that's something that we do also want to acknowledge. And I guess like what you were saying with somebody who's listened to like an episode and is like, well, I want to be on next.
Yeah.
I think the reality is that we also want to acknowledge those people who have been like very participatory and like really helped push this to where it is and like in the direction that it's going. And we certainly, I mean, you and I might be doing this if it wasn't for the listener, but probably not in this format.
Yeah.
I think the reality of having a podcast, like this is entertainment. I guess you do kind of have to vet people in a way.
Would you say you meant it's entertainment?
That's an inside joke.
You walked right into it. I hope we've said all of this and didn't sound super shitty to you, the listener. Yeah. We want you to be part of this. We also want you to continue just listening to it. If you don't get brought on, don't be too upset about it, I suppose. We've learned some technical sides of things that aren't going to be as easy as we thought, or as high quality as we want it to be, is the breakdown of what we're saying, I suppose.
Indeed.
So yeah, and with that in mind, I think it is
Mail time.
Yop!
That yop had one small extra yop. Put it over.
After this time of loneliness, get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
I don't know how the fuck I timed that so perfectly. I was just like rushing to hit play, like, what am I going to do? And it worked.
That was great, so man. That was definitely your brand of chaos, but I like it.
Thank you.
Let's hear some mail. What do you got, Jamie?
All right, we got a couple of things from Scarloey. First, not really a medium I can necessarily show on the podcast, but they made a TikTok it's just a picture of some anime character. I'm sorry, Scarloey. I think it might be from, I'm not going to try to guess what this is from. I don't know. But it says, Broderick says there's no pictures of him on TikTok. Well, and then he put a screenshot of a post that we made months ago of us filming in the courtroom, and it says there is now. And it's on TikTok. So now you're on TikTok.
Shoot.
So sorry about that.
Well, I'm famous now, I guess.
Yeah,
this is where
that's how it works.
Is this what it feels like to go viral?
I think so.
Wow.
No, that's when you get COVID.
Oh.
They also said They also said yop to the top. Hello, Jared and Brickhouse. It's Scarloey, your third favorite Yoppie dudette here. I am excited for you to get to episodes with Watchtower jokes in them. Like, we don't need 2 redacted guys. Redacted, quote, redacted. And my personal favorite, the yellow redacted. Anyway, keep up the great yop. And Brian knows that last one.
Yellow batsuit?
Oh, geez. Yellow Randa Dwayne's a robot? This is from Tim R. Heart of Steel Part 1 feedback. James and Brickstopher.
Hello.
Like my name is unchanged. While I'm honoring my pledge to be a regular feedbacker, I'm afraid I don't have many thoughts or observations when it comes to this week's episode, Heart of Steel. Oh, good. It says, to that end, I'll be combining my feedback for both episodes of the 2-parter while avoiding spoilers for Brian's benefit.
Wow. Okay, that's some art.
Let me try to vet this a little bit as I'm
You
reading.
should vet.
It certainly isn't bad, but as a kid, I remember finding it the most boring of the BTAS two-parters. Instead of an epic adventure like an episode Brian hasn't seen yet, or tragic villain origin a la Two-Face or Clayface, it just made me restless. It being the first appearance of Barbara makes it noteworthy, and the Blade Runner nod with Rossum's casting is a fun Easter egg, but one I didn't appreciate when I was younger. And Brian doesn't appreciate at all.
Truth.
The plot itself isn't revolutionary, but it's fine. I can't help but think of that SpongeBob episode where he thinks Mr. Krabs is a robot and that robots are taking over and replacing everyone. Is that not Hardak's ultimate plan at the end of the day? Yeah. Not the Navy!
Class.
That's the Beep Boo Boo Bop. Boo Boo Bop episode, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I should have been playing that song the whole time. It's also neat to chart the development of DCAU robotics technology. And blah, 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 Tim. Cool. Oh, my God. We have 9 voice messages. Jesus Christ.
Wow, get through them.
Okay, this is from Scarface Nate.
Greetings, James and Brian, and to all the dear listeners. And I do hope you're listening, Dylan Pollock. This one's for you. Right.
No one else did this joke.
We're watching Christmas as the Joker. It is very Akon-esque and very stupid and very silly. Much like Super Friends, but I guess that's why I like it so much. It's part of its charm. But we are not going to be talking about that. We will be talking about Heart of Steel. And no, we are not talking about the Balto villain or the very terrible Shaquille O'Neal film, but in all the best ways. But first, a word from our sponsor.
That was the first one, so here's
Who's our
number 2.
sponsor?
Hello, James and Brian. My creator, Dylan Pollock, has allowed me to send video message. Scarecrow mask found. Okay, we're gonna start that bit now. I do remember Heart of Steel being very silly, if not a little bit creepy, but a solid episode all around.
Yeah.
But I'm sending it to you without rewatching it. I don't know why. I should stop doing that. But I do remember it being silly, like the suitcase being able to escape everybody in the building, including Batman.
Yeah.
Batman having a machine in his Batcave that I guess holds his Batwing and is able to hold him hostage at the end. Like, okay, sure.
Yep.
And Barbara not realizing her father's different. Like, okay. I don't know. I know part 2 is much better in my opinion. Stay tuned for part 3.
Because of time, the time on the podcast,
Time constraints.
Please only send 2 voice messages tops, or I will not play the 3rd message. Okay.
Okay.
We listened to it, but I didn't put it in the podcast. This is from Jordan Blumen. Subject line is GCN. This is Gotham City News. So I think he's doing the Gotham City News bit again.
Bring it back.
We're about to find it.
Welcome back to GCN, Gotham City News with Jack Ryder.
Called it.
Tonight's top stories, a break-in at Wayne Enterprises committed by a briefcase? That doesn't make any sense. Summer, am I reading this right?
Some lady.
A briefcase robbed Wayne Okay. Batman was the guard was Batman's involved. No, that figures. I think it'd be normal if Batman's involved. Yeah, that's why. Batman went on to chase a random woman in a car. Why was she dressed like a clown? No? Just a woman? Okay. Well, more on this story at 6.
Wait, can we talk briefly about the whole square peg round hole? The briefcase cuts a circle,
The
and
briefcase keeps cutting perfect circles and objects, and doors and windows. Yeah,
and
then escaping
funny.
somehow. Yeah, I need to put the laugh track back. There's just all this awkward tension. He's doing like stand-up bits, and I should just start throwing in some in the background. It's to make it more awkward. Okay, this is Jordan's musical minute here.
Okay, bring it.
Welcome to the Musical Minute. Firstly, Dylan, I would love to spend 4th of July with Firefly. Broderick, you'll understand when you're older. Okay. I don't have anything in particular to say about the music for this specific episode, so I wanted to ask, which Batman theme do you prefer? Do you prefer the Danny Elfman opening and closing?
Yes.
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 Or Shirley Walker's actual leitmotif for Batman used throughout the show?
Danny Elfman.
I can never decide. I think I lean more toward the Danny Elfman one just because I've heard it more.
Those Batman themes are very similar. Like, I think that she purposely wrote the animated theme to be like almost, you just almost assume it's the or the Danny Elfman one. Mm-hmm. Also, like, Jordan sang it in the very, like, dramatic, moody version.
Yeah.
Most of the times, like, Batman shows up and you hear this, like, brass section go, bum, 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 like, really triumphantly.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that's not quite the ball, like, it's almost the same notes. It's very close. I think there was just kind of like gotta make a theme that's not written by Danny Elfman, so eventually we can do away with the Danny Elfman theme or whatever.
I love Danny Elfman.
I like that the main theme is the Danny Elfman movie theme just because it ties it, like, it's Batman.
Right.
But it also, and of course the show, like, being sort of a pseudo tie-in to those movies when it started, it came out around the same time.
Yeah.
But it's very much its own identity, I think, at this point. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the Tim Burton movies necessarily.
No, not to me. Anyway.
So, yeah, I think eventually it having its own. I prefer the non-Danny Elfman one, but maybe you'll just get used to it. I like the when you're older.
Yeah.
I like you could get any older. This voice message, it says, a message from Hardak 2.0, and it's sent from Hardak. So let's see what this is.
Nice.
Hey, Yoppie dudes. Heart of Steel is a good episode. Hardak is a good villain, and I can't wait for the episode His Silicon Soul. I hope the episode makes you think of Transformers because of Cybertron. It is the name of the planet the Autobots and Decepticons are from, after all. Also, Hardak is in Batman Arkham Morris on a building. Now I am going to post spoilers in the comment section. I am definitely not Dylan Pollock speaking in a TTS voice. Stay Yoppie.
Oh, that's
really good.
That's awesome.
Whoever did that was a good job. Good job. It was Hardak, obviously. Thoughts of Steel, Part 1 from Dylan Pollock.
Bring it, Dylan. Welcome back.
Well, hey there, DC's Trinity. Oh, wait, there's only 2 of you? I guess I'm just including that guy from last week. But just to address last week, thank you guys so much for having me on. I now feel like the carriage from Cinderella, and I have turned back into a pumpkin by this point.
No!
But let's get to the thoughts of the week from your boy Dylan Pollock on Heart of Steel Part 1 or Time for New Security. Okay, so in 2022, we've got the bomb squad checking out that suitcase long before the security guards just pop it open themselves. But what a nice world that seems to be. What I do love about the Bruce Batman transition when he says, "Stay put, I don't think so." That line, in the context of the show, he's doing that entirely for himself because no one else was around. He's in the room by himself. And I'm no Jordan Blumen with music, but man, do I love that dramatic sting of Robot Gordon knocking over the teddy bear. Like, that was a massive reveal.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more thing, and your favorite part of the question coming up in Part 2.
Yeah, we should just start including like Dylan's question and the musical minute from Jordan as like segments of the podcast.
Yeah, honestly,
recurring. Thoughts of Steel Part 2 from Dylan Pollock.
Left you guys on a cliffhanger with that one, sort of
yeah.
like this episode.
Hey.
So let's continue here. Considering we only ever see those robot arms to grab the bat glider, they really get a 0 on the bad usefulness scale, considering how quickly they turn against him.
Yeah.
And now for the question of the week. So, Commissioner Gordon was feeling pretty old with his teddy bear that he was bringing for Barbara, who's clearly not into it anymore. What's the most recent moment where something happened that made you feel extremely old? For me, my nephew and niece were here last week, and they use the term bussin' several times, and I may as well be 1,000 years old because I do not know what these dang kids are saying, and I practically wanted to ask them to get off my lawn, even though I don't even have a yard. So, let's hear your answer on when you feel old.
Anytime James claims that I'm over 100.
Because you are. Yeah, I had the same. We've already talked about my back problems, but I had that exact same bussin' experience with a kid at the Sunday market a couple weeks ago.
Oh god,
he was eating some sort of hamburger on a stick looking piece of shit, and he was just like, "This is bussin', Mom," as he ran past me, and I was like, "Oh, people actually say that."
Yeah, wow. I mean, this
is goated with the sauce, he said as he.
That's news to me. I actually had one the other day. There's this place that I work has recently hired 2 new people, and one of the employees is 21, and my thought was, oh my god, they're born in 2001.
Yeah,
that's creepy as hell. And then she asked how old I was. And I said I'm 38, and the first word out of her mouth was "wow."
That's old.
And I was, oh, and then she followed it pretty quickly up with, "Oh well, I would have guessed that you were like 28." And I thought, I don't know if that's like a like a sympathy thing or if it was a legitimate thing. I don't feel like I look my age, but all the same.
You do look younger than you are, I think, but also when I get to be 38, I'll be like, oh shit, I look old. I feel like I've already started. You can see it a little bit on the webcam. I've got some gray coming in the beard.
Yeah.
And I've got, every time that I do this now with my eyebrows, there's like lines up here. That didn't used to be a thing. You've had them for a while.
I've had them since I was literally like 10 or 12. That's nothing new for me. But I am starting to get lines here, and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, I'm feeling
the crow's
old.
Feet, as they call them. Yeah. You just go get Botox, duh.
I've got a razor over here. Is that Botox?
Yeah.
Cool.
You get Hardak to make you a duplicant, Brian.
Yeah.
We were just writing a script for a Watchtower video that had a little Hardak reference in it, and I knew that the fake people were called duplicants. Let me say that like a little bit louder. How do I say this without saying the C word? Duplicants. Duplicants.
Isn't
with
that
an
what they're
N.
called? Like duplicate.
And yeah. And I didn't edit out me saying something else just now.
Nope.
But I like, oh, that's from Blade Runner. That's why they're called that. But they're called replicants in Blade Runner. And so I was like, wait, has this just been like a something perpetuated by the DCAU fan community that they're called duplicants in this episode and like that's not actually a thing? And then Ted rewatched these episodes and like, no, they say duplicants in this with an N. I'm like, oh, okay. We watched it just now and I went, oh, Ted's right.
Ted's always right. That Ted. Always right.
Always pronounces words correctly.
Always.
Let's go to the comments.
Let's not talk about pronouncing things correctly, shall we, Jamie?
Yeah. I'm going to try to get through these quickly. I'm going to skip over some. I apologize if I skip yours. It's nothing personal. This is on Christmas with the Joker or Thoughts of Christmas with the Joker with Dylan Pollock. This is from Ashley Tutchin. This episode should end with a freeze frame of James laughing that slowly fades to black while a narrator says, James couldn't have known that would be the beginning of the end. Then we get a series of talking head interviews with Maddie, Ted, and Jessica talking about how Dylan and Brick formed an instant connection and began to slowly push James out of the podcast. It all came to a head one day when James paid Brick a surprise visit only to find him watching On Leather Wings with Dylan. James was never the same after that day. Cut to 5 years later, and Dylan has successfully installed himself as the supreme ruler of humanity.
Yeah.
Oh, and as for Christmas with the Joker, it may not be perfect, but I have a lot of sentimental love for it. I guess it's like most Christmas movies / episodes in that regard, but seriously, how has nobody written a prequel comic detailing how Joker got that rocket into Arkham?
Yeah, that's like the best point that people have been making.
Yeah, over and over.
Yeah.
Baconon. Arbor Day with Poison Ivy, St. Patrick's Day with the Riddler, Halloween with the Scarecrow. Those are all good answers, I think. Dylan's not here to say yes or no. MN Drew 1, I don't understand your confusion regarding Bruce's bullet-riddled cape. You should remember it was a Christmas gift from Clark. It was his Nightwing cape from Kandor, and under a yellow sun is self-repairing. That must be a comic thing that I don't even know about.
That must be a DC thing that I do not even know about.
That's correct. Scotty Cameron, this is the second holiday-themed episode with the Joker in it, the first being The Last Laugh, which was an April Fool's Day episode. I guess it was, wasn't it? I drew you a bath, sir. And neither episode aired on their respective holidays. Also, Be a Clown was a birthday episode. Birthdays are often lumped in with holidays. So his first 3 Joker appearances in production order are holiday-centric and animated by ACOM. This is a perfect segue to answering Dylan's question. So I have 3 answers. First, I'd spend Easter with Egghead, which is the Adam West villain. I mean, it's obvious an egg-themed villain on a holiday about eggs. Secondly, I'd spend Halloween with Clayface. He can shapeshift into his costume. Neat. Lastly, I'd spend Labor Day with Sewer King. Seeing the underdwellers doing all that labor in the sewers was a perfect way to celebrate Labor Day. Yeah, it's not slave labor day, though. I just got to appreciate how morbid this episode got when Summer says her mother is on the train, and Joker's response through his puppet is that it'll be more exciting when it crashes. Gets me every time. It's a kid's show, not just nonchalantly joking about people dying in a train crash. Maybe that's what Bruce Timm meant when he said the episode was dark. Maybe. Also, I'm surprised no one mentioned how Joker's hand is behind the rope holding the awful lawful family above the acid pit when he points to laugh at Batman after pieing him in the face. Something about that shot always looked wrong to... Oh, I guess he has like an extra arm. Someone just pointed out something like that to me. I mean, I guess that's a new one that I didn't know either. But I've watched the Justice League series premiere a billion times. Like that was the show that I like first started videotaping every new episode, and I was super pumped. I was gonna finally watch a DCAU show like as it aired and all this stuff. I'm 10 years old. This is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
I rewatched the intro so many times. Someone just pointed out to me the other day that there's a shot where Jon Jones is in like the foreground and the background at the same time. And I'm like, no, that's not true. And then I go to that shot and he is, and I was so mad that I had never noticed that. Like, how? So whenever we get to that, maybe I'll remember to point it out to you.
Man. Okay,
that'll be
cool.
20 years from now. Yeah. Pill and Dalek says this episode's only flaws that James and Brian are in it. Dylan Pollock replied, agreed, but I guess they can stick around.
Aww.
Charles Motosierra, the universe that got the version of Heart of Steel where Hardak is played by Shaquille O'Neal is much luckier. I'm glad that this is just a running gag now. Banana Man says, okay. Jarlid97 says, it always baffles me when people try to recommend skipping. Oh, this is a Clone Wars thing. So I'm going to skip the Clone Wars discussion is over. It's locked down, okay? KM says, James, you have read my comment wrong. I didn't say I have trouble pronouncing my name. I said I have trouble explaining how to pronounce it to another person. Okay, I apologize. Especially a person that doesn't know my language. Here in Turkey, people can easily pronounce my name, but most people have trouble spelling it. Fortunately, you know how to spell my name because you see it on the screen. KM is perfectly fine. See, Dylan, you're wrong. KM is fine. They said KM is fine. You can keep using that. I could stop writing pronunciation segments to my comments. Yes, let's go with KM. Dylan said what I think about two-parters. I consider them one episode, so I will write my thoughts of Heart of Steel next week. Okay. We didn't put this on the fucking top 10 or not. We don't put it on the top 10, though, correct? Okay, moving on. I may be the only one who doesn't like Christmas with the Joker because I don't have any nostalgia for it. I didn't watch any of the DCAU when I was a kid. They didn't air those in Turkey. I know they aired BTAS in Turkey in the 90s, but I am 18, so I don't remember that. Oh, I'm 18, they say. I'm currently watching DCAU for the first time. I finished Superman a few days ago. I really enjoyed it so far. I'm looking forward to watch all the Watchtower Database videos when I'm done with JLU. Okay, cool.
Nice.
It will be really hard for a new listener to start listening on this podcast or anything beyond that point because of all the running jokes, right? So I made essential episodes list for running jokes. Episode 1, Yoppie Dudes.
What?
Episode 2, Get Up on the Hydra's Back. Episode 3, Some Lady. Episode 7, Batman's Usefulness. Episode 8, Firehand. That isn't essential as some others because you say where this originated every time. Episode 21, Books or Hip Hop. I think those are all the running jokes except Big Bus Oregon. I don't remember when that started. If somebody could find the episode that started, the list will be perfect.
Oh my God. That was KM that wrote that?
Yeah, it was KM. Good old KM. I would say that Big Bus, I don't know, probably the second or third episode or something like that.
It was pretty close to Alan Mormon daughter.
You just said his name. I think I said like Tim or something like that. You said his real first name just now.
I mean, you can beep that out.
No, that's going in. They said, I'm not sure what they. Oh. Dylan said, we agree on two-parters. Thanks for the handy list because I still don't understand books or hip hop. And KM replied, I'm not sure what they mean with it either. But my interpretation is books means it's a more character-focused episode that relies... Sorry, I'm just laughing at this because it's bullshit. It means nothing. It heavily relies on writing, while hip-hop means it's a more action-focused episode and relies on good fight scenes. The listener is trying to break the...
To be fair, I think that is kind of how we treat it
mentally. Yeah.
Though at the onset, it was just a completely arbitrary rating system. There was no.
What's Heart of Steel? Books or hip hop?
Oh,
part one.
Hip hop.
You think so?
Yeah.
I was leading a little more book.
Oh.
I don't know.
Whoa.
I think part 2 is more hip-hop. Books episodes are the ones you could analyze for hours, and hip-hop episodes are just plain fun. That's just the vibe these words gave me. With the explanation of Heart of Ice is a good book episode, and It's Never Too Late is a bad book episode. Almost Got Him is good hip-hop, and The Clock King is bad hip-hop. I love it.
This is so cool. Oh my god, I love this like kind of being analyzed because I feel like it is like it's a cool way to like actually like go in and like delve into like our like how we work. I mean,
yeah, we're just saying like we didn't really even come up with the explanation.
No, but this is perfect.
Dissected.
I will absolutely say that's canon.
Yeah, for sure. Super Luigi 64. I know this will be really last minute, especially if it gets read on the podcast. It'll make it in time. If any of the listener are in or near Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, the Metro Cinema, the historic French. I'm gonna read French theater. Garnier Theater is showing Batman: Mask of the Phantasm on Saturday, June 4th. It's a great old theater. I've seen Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter there for past events. Phantasm is my dad's and my favorite Batman movie, so us seeing it on the big screen is going to be hype as hell. I think I replied to that. Yeah, I said that'll be a lot of fun. I got to see it on the big screen when they released it in 2018, I think. My parents went with me, and we had a great time. So cool seeing it and hearing it like that. Yeah, it is like that movie came out Christmas 1993, so I wouldn't have seen it in theaters as a baby.
Right.
But I like rented it 1,000 times on video, and I got to see it when they re-released it in theaters a few years ago, and I saw it in theaters, and it was just the most like... I don't know. It was a very emotional experience for me. It was just like, oh my God, this is so cool.
We should, I feel like we should take a moment to highlight that and say that even though you don't know where exactly, it was in Edmonton?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Metro Cinema was the name.
Okay, yeah. Like, go, if you're in that area, like, Google that, go to that. It would be really cool to get like if there was a group of listeners that actually went
a gaggle
to
of
that,
listeners. Yeah,
it'd be really cool to get like a Yoppie dudes photo. So
yeah, if you're there and you just stand up and are there any fellow Yoppie dudes here at this time?
Well, say you
if anyone else stands up and says, "Oh, Yoppie, my Yoppie," then you know.
You could start a conversation in the comments section and like find a way to communicate, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you all go. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, take a selfie and send it to the email address.
Yeah.
Cole Papadakis, a candy cane at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the podcast, localized entirely in Brick's house.
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah. Aussie Dragoon, I don't know about this third host. Do you think Dylan Pollock would like him? I'm not so sure. I expect a scathing thoughts of the week on this poochie next week from Dylan Pollock. Is that Australian slang for... Did I just say a terrible thing? What's a poochie?
I don't know, but we're going to find out
next time,
week.
We get to see Batman face off against the giant Death Thermos. Oh, Hardak, I suppose.
It's a
I was
Dalek,
thinking
come
Minion.
on.
Also, I feel redacted that Cybertron Industries created a robot and it doesn't turn into a gun or tape deck or something. Also, is it like a Transformer? Is it just me, or do protein silicon wafer chips sound like an alternative snack served at a vegan soup a big game party? Soup big game?
I
don't know. You're Australia.
Yeah, it is, and I'd totally eat those.
Yeah. Cole Papadakis also says, do my ears deceive me, or is that the Dylan Pollock, the listener above all listeners, time traveler supreme, and the hive mind ruler of us all? It is. It
Indeed.
Was. Kate swallows rocktastics. I like to think I started the trend of nobody ever getting Jingle Bells and Batman Smells' names right. This is referring to us. Mm-hmm. I'm Jingle Bells. You're even though that's probably a lie, I just like feeling special. I can read. It made me remember that last time we talked while the episode was going, you were like, is that the origin of Jingle Bells Batman Smells?
Yeah.
Is this episode? And Dylan and I were like, no. And I think we brought up that it was in The Simpsons before that. But there's a really good video by Tom Scott. Is that his name? The gray-haired science guy?
Yeah, red t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he goes over like the history of that, and he like
that's right. I saw that episode.
Yeah.
Or video.
Yeah, he takes like a census of like how you sing it in your country and all this stuff. Like it's really fast. He doesn't come to it like an actual conclusion, but he has like a bunch of bar graphs with information and such. And you
like
should
Tom
watch
Scott
that video.
do.
Yeah,
yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Nick Sorensen, this is certainly up there in my list of Christmas-themed episodes and movies to want to revisit every holiday season, along with other episodes later to come. I'm sorry. Considering that it's the Joker's... I'm just Rick and Mortying it over here.
You are.
Considering that it's the Joker's first appearance in terms of production, this is a pretty entertaining intro for his character in the series, though I'm currently debating whether or not it makes a better introductory episode for him than his first airdate appearance, Joker's Favor. I don't think so. I think that's better. I think Joker's Favor is better. Also, they don't call you Batman for nothing. Ranks high in my list of all-time favorite puns in the DCAU that Brian talked over. Right next to an infamous one that comes up at a certain point in Justice League. James should know which one. Do I? I need more of a hint than that. But maybe I do. The Yop Tower database. And just like that, these Pod Tower fat cats have dragged an innocent doe-eyed bystander into the war. If this Dylan Pollen character values his image and reputation, this will be the last time he appears on this farce of a podcast. To which Dylan replied, perhaps if some sort of Yop Tower database podcast wanted me on, I could join that instead. Oh, no. Don't do it, Dylan. Become a permanent host.
Do it, Dylan.
Yeah. Yop, and Dylan. Cooney Phoenix, this was such a fun episode. And because I had a free class period, I decided to watch Christmas with the Joker before listening to this, and I'm glad I did.
Awesome.
Yes, that's what you're supposed to
done.
do. Totally forgot about a good handful of funny things y'all touched upon, like the whole awful lawfuls thing and how the candy canes being used for gags of some sort, even though they could be so easily removed, was interesting. As a final thing, there were a couple typos in my last comment. Wah, sorry about that. I typed these on my phone. I guess I forgot to check. But Gothman instead of Gotham is pretty funny all the same, I guess. I thought that too. I assumed it was Gotham. Today is a pretty dull day, so thanks for the laughs. I hope today that you're listening to this one is less dull.
Yeah.
But free class periods are good. I had a free class period senior year of high school, and my friend Joe and I would just go to the mini mart and get donuts and Monsters.
Oh my god!
And then go to his house and watch a movie, and then we'd go back to school, and it was pretty cool.
I was such a good kid, and I just didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't take a free class through freshman, sophomore, or junior year. So when I hit the second half of senior year, I only had one class in the middle of the day, and it was chorus. So I'd show up, sing for an hour and a half because we had block scheduling, and then I'd go home. That was the second half of my senior year, and I felt like I had hacked the system somehow to make that happen.
That's genius, and I wish I'd ever thought to do that. But I also don't think I ever would have been able to. The setup was weird at my high school where, because thinking about it now, I had all these, outside of normal school hours classes, like marching band, jazz band. We were in there was some sort of science class that had some extra stuff that counted as part of a class or something. I can't remember. But all that stuff should have added up to me being able to do a similar thing to that, but instead it was just senior year I had one free class period because jazz band was at 7 a.m. So it must not have, I don't think it like built upon itself over time. Batgirl fangirl. Well done, Dylan. You absolutely smashed it. So then Heart of Ice Part 1. I'll be careful regarding spoilers for Brian.
Thank you.
That's okay. The description spoiled the entire episode, Part 2 anyway. I love this one and Part 2. The creepy robotic briefcase that can do all that it can do and contain the books, notepads, pencil, and a rocket. The pair of arms in the Batcave that's only role is to hold up a wet bat glider. The weird, excessively large cappuccino machine. The cute little robot that's only beaten in cuteness by Wooby. I hope you showed Brian how this episode looked on DVD before they restored it. Very good episode, guys. I don't recall it being horrendous, but I did notice a lot of hairs and such on the Blu-ray, even like the cleaned up version, so I can only imagine like what it looked like before.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of dust and scratches actually.
Yeah. Dylan Pollock, I just want you all to know dreams do come true. Oh, and I did this podcast thing. Yes, you did. Lenola Cola, Christmas came early, and Dylan Pollock is the gift that keeps on giving. Merry Yopmas. Wait, this is another ACOM ep? That like getting coal in your stocking. Also, I humbly accept Dylan Pollock canonizing the new origin to my username. Wency209, yes, Dylan Pollock is here. Also, I graduated from senior high school yesterday, so send your congrats to me. Congrats! Woo! Did you have any free periods? And also, fuck, ACOM is back. Also, to add to the DCAU multiverse of madness, there's an upcoming Adult Swim show called Learning with Pibby, where many Cartoon Network characters become mindless zombie-like monsters thanks to a glitchy black goo. Okay, that's enough of info dumping. Have a good Yoppie day, my lovely friends. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that or whatever a while ago, and I think we were going to try to include that in the multiverse video, but it was like so ambiguous what it was or when it was happening or whatever. We're like, there's not enough time.
Noted.
We'll just go. That did remind me that the HBO Max is reviving Clone High. Oh. And you just talked about that last time of being a favorite, so you got to check that out.
Hell yeah.
You have my HBO Max login now.
You know what? I wouldn't use it without your permission.
Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, Mark Aquino says first, but they actually said, do my ears deceive me, our Messiah and Savior Dylan Pollock? This proves we can overthrow the podcast. Huzzah. And that is the end of the podcast. Thank you for writing in. If I skipped your comment, don't worry about it. Just comment again. Maybe I'll write it next time. Maybe I won't. Maybe it is time to end the podcast. This has been Jump on the Bat-Wagon with James and Brian and nobody else. Thank you for listening.
Except for everybody that wrote in.
This, if you want to reach out to us, like the fire hand at the end of the Cat in the Claw Part 2, you can email podcast@watchtowerdatabase.com or do the voice message at anchor.fm/Bat-Wagon.
Don't forget to rate the podcast if you are on a service that can rate it. Don't forget to buy merch, because that... I don't know.
Buy yourself a Yoppie Dude t-shirt. There's a link in the description, you dingus.
And send us photos of you in your merch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hashtag
photos of you
something.
in your... You must buy a Yoppie Dude shirt in the next 1 day by the time you're listening to this, and go to the Canada premiere of Batman Mask of the Phantasm with your Yoppie Dude shirt and take a group photo only in Yoppie Dude shirts.
Or make... or for that specific Canadian event, we will say that it's cool to make your own Yoppie Dude shirt. Yeah.
As long as you send us the money that you would have paid. But anyway, new episodes of the podcast are out every Friday on the Podtower YouTube channel and your favorite podcast feed. I'm burping so much. So much burp. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for listening, listener.
Friday.
Thanks for getting this far. You're super great.
We love.
We do love.
Oh, shit. I should have done one more. We'll just... Yo, little Brian is having a real hard time keeping up with this. Okay, 3, 2, let's jam. Bye.
Computer, scan Batcave for... What?